Good afternoon, Otherworldlies. This is Queen Juliana, your dark mask diva. You guys are going to have to excuse my congested voice. I am getting over the flu, so if you hear me sniffing and you hear my voice sounding kind of funny, or I might let a cough out or something like that, getting over the flu, but I wanted to get a video out because I haven't made one in about a week or something like that, so I wanted to get a video out here. So I finally left the house after like a week of being stuck inside, and I just wanted to talk about something that kind of, I don't want to say I was triggered today because I'm not like upset, but it just kind of made me want to talk about something. So Otherworldlies, here goes. Okay, this is about people who are outside, okay, talking to you and stuff like that. Alright, so unless you live in a really small town, for the most part, you're not going to want to talk to people who are outside. Okay, if you live in a small town, you probably pretty much like know everybody who's out there, okay? And I'm not going to say that everybody outside is a total weirdo or anything like that, but a lot of people outside, if you live in a fairly big city, most of the people outside, they're up to no good. Okay, so I'm going to talk about people who are waiting outside the supermarket. Okay, most of them are up to something. All right. If they're waiting right outside the exit of the supermarket, they are trying to get money out of your pocket in one way or another. They're either trying to get you to sign a petition and ask for a donation, or they're just, asking for some spare change. So what you want to do when you leave the supermarket, all right, you're going to want to know they're going to be out there. Okay. And you're going to want to have that body language where your head is down, okay, and you're going to want to have your head turned, and you're going to want to have your head down. Okay, so this is what I always do. A lot of time they know not to mess with me because most of the time I'm dressed like a goth, so for the most part they leave me alone. So ever since I've become more of a goth, they have left me alone. They still do try to talk to me though. Not gonna lie, they do try to hit me up because they do it to everybody. Okay, and I'm white, so they think I have money. Okay, let's just keep it real. That's what they do. So that's what people think. If you're white, they think you have money. Okay, that's not a fair assumption because I don't have money. Okay, but I go outside with my head down, turned, looking down. I kind of look at the ground. And I just walk, and I kind of have a focus, and I leave, and they still try to talk to me. They go, "Hi, how are you today?" Like they're just trying to make conversation. Okay, I don't answer. Now, this is what you need to do. You need to stop caring if people think you're a B word or a C word. All right, it's okay to ignore people. Because they're not doing it because they're nice. They're not doing it to be friendly. You don't need to reply to people just because they talk to you. All right. Excuse me. Sorry, getting over being sick. So you just leave the store. Don't care if people think you're rude. Don't care if people think you're mean. They should not be bothering you while you're shopping. All right. People really shouldn't be allowed to be doing things like that anyway. Okay. I don't think people should be allowed to sit outside a supermarket and bother people when they're just trying to leave and get in their car, or when they're just trying to leave and walk home, or when they're just trying to do whatever. Okay. So this is the same situation. There's usually like some unhoused person. Okay, so we all feel bad for those people, right? Now, I don't judge those people, because a lot of people are just 2 paychecks away from that being you, right? That could be anybody. But those people sit out there with their animals. There's this guy that's been sitting out there outside the store that I shop at. He sits out there with his 2 big dogs, and he sits out there with his shirt off, and he just sits out there. And in a spot where I mean, he's really extremely hard to ignore. But I walk by, I make sure that I do not make eye contact with him, and I especially just walk by where I cut across to where I don't even have to walk by him, right? And I do it especially in a way where most people would walk by him. I find a way to cut across where I don't even have to walk by him. I just found a way to do it. Okay, where I don't, and he stares at me the whole time and tries to get me to look him in the eye. I have really good peripheral vision, so I can see him. I can see him trying to get me to look at him, and I just absolutely will not do it. And I just walk into the store. So, he's purposely trying to get people to look at him and, try to give him money, right? So, people have to pass him to get into the store. So he's purposely sitting there to make people feel bad, okay, to give him money, to try to make conversation with him or whatever. And I see people standing out there talking to him, and there's nothing wrong with people talking to him, but he tries to do that, right? So I just found a way to just completely evade him and get into the store anyway without having to talk to him. Okay, so there's that, all right? So there is a friend that I had to stop being friends with for many reasons, but one of the reasons was we would be walking somewhere and I would see people try to make eye contact with me, people who I can tell that, they were just up to no good, and they would try to get, they would be staring at me, trying to get me to make eye contact with them, and I just absolutely would not. My peripheral vision is really good, you guys. So, I mean, I'm farsighted. So I could see them from far away trying to do it, but I wear glasses when I read. But I could see them trying to do the eye contact thing. But one of my friends would always talk to these strangers. And I would try to have talks with her like, can you please not talk to strangers when we go for walks? Because they try to make the eye contact with me and try to get me to talk to them and make eye contact with them, and I said, I won't. And she goes, oh, well, why didn't you tell me before? And I go, I have told you before. Can you not talk to these people? They're trying to get me to make the eye contact and talk to them, and I won't. So I go, so they talk to you. I go, they're trying to stop me, and I won't stop. So that's why they try you. I go, because they know I'll stop because you're right behind me. And I go, and I'll keep trying to walk ahead, and they'll stop her, so then I have to stop and be like, oh, God, So, anyway, long story short, she doesn't know how to disengage from those kind of situations. So, I mean, there was other reasons, too, but I just really can't hang around her because she'll stop and talk to these people, and there are certain people where sometimes some people don't understand when they're in a socially dangerous situation. There are people that, when you can sense there's something dangerous about them and you really should not be talking to them. Okay, she doesn't have that sense. And when you're talking to people in a bad neighborhood, and I know I shouldn't be talking to them because it's one of those F around and find out situations where you're kind of like a sitting duck if you're standing there talking to them, because it's like something's going on and you don't want to stand there and talk to them because something might be jumping off or something. You don't want to be hanging around talking to them because you can tell they're high. They might be trying to rob you. Something weird is going on, and you don't want to be a part of whatever it is. You don't want to be hanging around them talking to them. And I sense something's a little off about the situation, and that's why I don't want to talk to them. Okay, so they're just making me uncomfortable for whatever reason, but she'll stop and talk to them. So I can't hang around that friend because, some people just don't have common sense. When you're a child and your mom tells you not to talk to weirdos, okay, maybe her mom didn't tell her. Okay, now I think it's just common sense. Don't talk to weirdos. But I just get this feeling like some people are dangerous and you shouldn't be talking to them. And I guess she just doesn't get that sense. Okay, and some people are cool and eccentric and interesting and weird in a good way. And then there's people who are weird in a bad way. Okay, and I don't want to be talking to those weirdos. So And then there's other people that are unhoused or just hanging out, and you feel okay about saying hi to them. So there's people like that where they're cool. You can say hi and like, "Hi, miss, how are you?" "I'm good, how are you?" And it's okay to say hi to them. And there's a lot of people that I'm fine and I can say hi to them and they're not up to anything. So there's a lot of situations where I feel okay about that, and they don't ask me for $1 or they don't bug me or anything. They just want to say hi, and I'm fine with that. But most people, you don't want to make eye contact with them. You don't want to stop and talk to them. Okay, most people, nowadays, you just really need to leave them be. Okay, and if you have a friend who doesn't have a compass for danger, and they don't understand when you try to tell them, hey, you really shouldn't be talking to that person. They really don't. You shouldn't be hanging around that friend, because that friend is going to get you into some kind of situation. Okay, so I had to stop hanging around that friend because she just talked to creepy people, And I'm not saying she was trying to get me into danger, but she just didn't know better, And I was just like, no, no. When you're walking through a bad neighborhood, and I came from a bad neighborhood, and strangely enough, so did she. So you should think she would know better, and she didn't. And she came from as bad of a neighborhood as I did, so you would think she would know better, but no, she should know, and she didn't. So yeah, but most people you should not, you shouldn't stop and engage with them. But I hope that you have a sense of who's creepy and who's not creepy. If you ever get a weird feeling around someone, trust that feeling and don't feel bad about it. And if people are trying to get you to sign things, or sitting at some table and try to strike up a conversation or whatever, don't feel like you need to talk to them. Okay, because they know you have money because you just came out of a store. They know you have money because you're going into a store. It's not your job to give them your money. You worked hard for that money. Okay, or somebody gave you that money because they thought that money is supposed to belong to you. It does not belong to somebody else. Okay, and it is not your moral obligation to sign that petition, whatever that petition happens to be. All right, and your time does not belong to anybody else. Your money does not belong to anybody else. Okay, people do not need to guilt you into helping them because they're sitting there with their animals. Okay, people will position themselves and plant themselves certain places so they think you're going to have to stop and talk to them. Okay, like that guy with his 2 dogs. He sits there on purpose. Okay, so that's why I resent him being there. All right, because he's sitting in such a place where everybody has to he's kind of the gatekeeper, like everybody has to pass him, and I just found a way around him. I just did. I mean, because the new place where I live, I found a way to just cut through and cut around him. So I'm lucky. So that's it for now. Do not make eye contact with those petition people. Do not make eye contact with those people selling cookies outside. Do not, people will have their kids out there, and the kids will practically get in your face and scream at you. You don't need to buy things from them just because they're kids. Okay? I know I'm sitting here sounding really mean, but people need to quit being aggressive. Today, Zen was walking away and somebody chased him down. They literally chased him down, and he was looking away. He was looking down and doing what I said to do. They literally chased him down, and they were harassing him. So these people, they don't have moral standards. All right, and they do harass you, and they're aggressive. So they're actually in the wrong, and we need to learn how to be rude, and we need to learn how to evade these people better, and we need to realize that what they're doing is they're being aggressive towards us, and they're being disrespectful. So Learn how to ignore people. Learn how to expect them to do this. Expect them to be aggressive. Okay, expect that they're up to something. And there's nothing wrong with you ignoring people. Okay, that's all I have to say, and I love you all, and you guys have a beautiful evening. Bye-bye.